Hello guys, my name is Megan and this is Rebel Ramblings. For those of you who are new to my channel, which I would imagine is most of you because I am new to my channel, this is basically a channel where I talk about psychology and storytelling, and I overanalyze a whole lot of nerdy things and hopefully start a discussion and a conversation about some of our favorite elements of literature and psychology. For those of you who are not new to my channel, you might be a little confused by the hair. Yes, this is in fact a wig. I love wigs, and I have a huge wig collection, so you'll probably see me shooting videos in wigs every so often at least. I got a little bit of Barbara Gordon inspiration today, and I decided to pull out my red hair. So I wanted to continue my Myers-Briggs typing series today. So for this series, I basically take a fictional character and I analyze them and I determine what I think would be their Myers-Briggs type. Now, if you're like, what is Myers-Briggs? Or you kind of have an idea but you're not totally sure, I do have a video that I made where I explain what Myers-Briggs is and how the typing system works, so you can check that out. But just for a quick overview, basically Myers-Briggs is a personality typing system that is based in the psychological research of Carl Jung, as well as Briggs and Meyer, who were a mother-daughter pair that developed this. It is a personality typing system, like I said. You can have one of 16 personality types. Each personality type is broken down into one of two choices in 4 categories. So you have 4 letters, and each of those 4 letters there are one of 2 choices. So the same disclaimer that I'm going to be doing on all of these videos is that you can never 100% accurately, correctly type a fictional character because they are fictional characters. They're not real people. As three-dimensional and fully developed as a character is, they are still at the end of the day a fictional character. You can never determine how they would definitely respond in a situation in which they're never in. You can make a very educated guess. So that just means that nothing I'm saying is, the right choice. So if you disagree with any of my thoughts and opinions on this, you of course are more than welcome to, and quite possibly right. So yeah, if you disagree with what I'm saying, keep that in mind and comment down below what you think, because I would love to hear your take on it. I did a Myers-Briggs typing of Princess Leia, so it feels only fitting that I should complete the grouping there, and I'm going to be typing her twin brother Luke Skywalker. So let's get started. Alright, so the first letter is I versus E, which is the introvert versus the extrovert. I think that Luke is interesting. Well, in A New Hope, he kind of falls into the classic case of he talks a lot, but he's still an introvert kind of situation. I think that as he gets older, that goes away. He talks less and less. He's much more likely to sit back and quietly observe things, and he definitely likes to be alone. So whenever he has anything he needs to think about, he is on his own. He likes to find a little place and hole up with his droid and his thoughts and his force ghosts, I guess. Anyway, so I would definitely say that he is an introvert as opposed to an extrovert. So yeah, the first difference between the twins, Leia is definitely an extrovert, Luke is definitely an introvert, but that's a good balance because they definitely, Leia's able to get Luke kind of going, and Luke is able to get Leia kind of introspective. So the second letter is going to be the N versus the S, which is the sensing versus the intuition. I kind of talked about this a little bit in the Leia video also. Actually, I talked about it a lot in the Leia video. The whether or not every single Jedi is an N because the Force is kind of intuition. Is every Jedi an N? I don't know. But Luke is an N. He's definitely intuitive. He goes based on his intuition about a lot of things. He actually specifically goes against what people tell him is best because he goes based on his intuition. And yes, again, of course, that's the Force, but I think it's more than that because it's something that he fell into so naturally. Well, maybe it is just the Force. I don't know. What do you think? Is every Jedi an N? Am I going to get to the end of this series having typed every single Jedi in all of Star Wars before I've determined every Jedi is an N? Is there any Jedi that's not an N? It's an interesting question. If you can think of a Jedi that you don't think is an N type, please comment down below because I am curious to see that. maybe one of the Jedi that's like not very into the Force. You know, sometimes there are ones that are more into the like fighting and the lightsaber stuff and not so much into the Force part of it. I don't know, like, maybe. Anyway, maybe someone in extended universe that I'm not even thinking of. Anyway, yeah, let me know. I think that'd be really interesting. That's going to be like a research project that I'm assigning myself now. So the third letter is the F versus the T, which is the thinking versus the feeling. So thinkers tend to go with their head and feelers tend to go with their heart. And this is not like, obviously, a 100% you always follow your brain or you always follow your heart, because everyone does a little bit of both, but which one they generally tend to focus on. So I think one of the best examples of a situation in which this Luke can be, his type can be determined is in The Empire Strikes Back, when he is on Dagobah with Yoda and he has a vision of Leia and Han and everybody else being in danger, and Yoda says, it could be a trick, and even if it is true, you could be jumping into something that you can't even help with, and you're just gonna make things worse, and don't just jump at every twinge at your heart, Luke. You gotta sit down and you have to think this through, like, be logical about this. And Luke's like, no, I don't care about any of that stuff. My friends are in danger. I'm gonna go save my friends. So 100% heart there. And I think that there are a lot of other circumstances in which he's the same way. I mean, I think almost every motivation he does is heart. I mean, even in the very beginning of A New Hope, where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna jump off and save this princess, or yeah, I'm gonna join the resistance, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and all the way through to the very end where he's, he isolates himself on an island because he's so emotional about what's happened with his nephew and whatever, on and on and on, all heart. So he's definitely, I would say, an F, which is feeling, and not so much a T. Obviously he can be logical when he needs to be, but I think that it's not his first instinct. And I think one of the best examples of it actually is also, another example is also in, it's in The Last Jedi, but the flashback to his encounter with Ben Solo, his nephew, when he has this vision of him turning evil, and his first instinct is to turn on the lightsaber, and then he stops and thinks, and he's like, oh, I don't want to do that, I'm going to pull back. And that's also kind of the same exact scenario that he has, when he encounters Darth Vader in The Return of the Jedi and the Emperor. His first response is to, get angry, and then he has to stop himself and think. See, look, it wasn't out of character for him to do that in The Last Jedi, because he does the same thing in Return of the Jedi, guys. Anyway, point being, he is heart first, and then logic is a second to that. Leia's a T, like I said in my video. She's very much more logical. Both are very, very necessary skills, and I think they're very lucky that they both have those opposites, because I think they balance each other out very well, because you really need both to be successful in the kind of situations that they're in. You have to really care about people, and you really have to be willing sometimes to just jump in and sacrifice everything to save somebody, but you also have to stop and think and take a step back and say, is that really the smartest choice? So they definitely balance each other out there. This is starting to become a video about how Luke and Leia are awesome and balance each other out. I was going to make another video where I kind of talked about their relationship, not their relationship, but their character types and how they work together, and how interesting it is that a lot of their stereotypical gendered traits are flipped, because Luke is the heart and Leia is the brains. Probably still make a video going more in depth about that, but I guess I can point that out now. I think that's a really cool thing about them. They definitely work together really well for that reason, which I think is great. So the final letter is the J versus the P, judging versus perceiving. And I think that Luke is a P. The reason I think that Luke is a P is because I never really get the sense that he's that much of a planner. He kind of does plan some stuff, but he also kind of is like, let's see how that turns out. Like, I even feel like with his Jedi Academy, and yes, I'm going to be pulling a little bit from the books because they don't show this in the movies. Okay, so side note, disclaimer. My opinion on the extended universe is anything that has not explicitly been proven not canon by the new movies, I still consider to be canon. So I'm just pointing that out. And it's not canon because you know he had a Jedi Academy, right? So anyway, in his forming of the Jedi Academy, it was kind of like, we'll see how this goes. You know, he had this idea. He was like, yeah, this is an idea. Let's see how that goes. And turns out, for the most part, until Ben kills everybody, it works out, but it wasn't scheduled, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this, and everything planned out. And I think he's that way a lot about a lot of things, so that would be my inclination to put him as a P. And because I've done this with all the other ones, Leia is a J. So Luke and Leia have one letter in common based on my typing, which is the N. Oh, I guess... yeah, no, one, because Leia's an extrovert. They have one letter in common, and I think that's kind of interesting because you read a lot about how people with similar typings get along really well, but these two get along very well, obviously. I mean, they're twins, so I guess they have that going for them. But they're like opposites attract. They balance each other out very well, so, you know, Luke's able to kind of bring the big ideas, and Leia's kind of able to bring the, okay, but how are we going to make this happen? And it works out well. You know, forming governments, which they do, stuff like that. Yeah, so that means that Luke is an INFP. Makes me very happy because I am also an INFP, and I love Luke. So Luke isn't my favorite Star Wars character because my favorite Star Wars character I determined the first time I saw the movies when I was very young as Lando Calrissian, and why fix what's not broken, right? Lando Calrissian is obviously the best character. But Luke is a very, very close second, and he's definitely the character in Star Wars that I relate to the most. He's one of the fictional characters overall that I relate to the most. Top 5 for sure, maybe even top 2 or 3. I think we have a lot mentally in common. We kind of approach situations in a very similar way. So I think that that's kind of interesting. And it turns out we have the same Myers-Briggs type, at least based on my opinion. So, yeah. I don't know how much of that is bias and how much of that is being unbiased. I tried to be unbiased about this. I really tried to be unbiased about these characters. There are a couple of my absolute favorite characters that I've been working on typing, and I'm so tempted to lean, if I'm on the edge, lean towards the side of making them more similar to me, but I'm really trying not to think about that and take that out. But I'm also a human being and I'm fallible, so if you agree with my typing of Luke, if you disagree, if you think I'm being totally biased, let me know. Comment down below what you think and how you would type him if it's different. If you agree with my typing, if you want to, explain more, please do. So if there's another fictional character that you are interested in hearing me type, let me know down below. They do not have to be a Star Wars character. I like many, many things. If you enjoyed this video, then go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this. I'm definitely going to continue this Myers-Briggs typing character thing, but I also want to get into a few other psychological analytics and storytelling analyses and just discussing things in general. I like to talk about so many things. That's my problem. I like way too many things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can see some very lame photos of me. My Instagram is Full Metal Skywalker, because I'm a nerd. And yeah, I hope you guys are all staying safe during this crazy, crazy time of Corona, and have a great day.